Whenever this college football season is played, Mac Jones will have the weight of the world on his shoulders. Not only will he have the pressure of winning the Alabama starting quarterback job and lead Alabama back to the college football playoffs, but he will also be replacing one of the best quarterbacks in Alabama history in Tua Tagovailoa. This is Who is Mac Jones? In the Who Is series, we go through the backstories of up-and-coming collegiate and pro athletes. We will be releasing 4 videos a week going forward. Consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. Mac Jones was born on September 5th, 1998 in Jacksonville, Florida. Jones comes from a very athletic family. His father played tennis at Florida State, his brother played soccer at Mercer, and his sister played tennis at the College of Charleston. Jones first started playing football at the age of 5, when he signed up for Pop Warner football. Jones attended the Bolles School, which is one of the top private school football programs in the state of Florida. According to Florida Gridiron Prep, the Bolles School has 11 state championships and 18 appearances in the state title game. During his sophomore season, Jones played in 2 games where he threw for 229 passing yards and 3 interceptions off the bench. Jones first won the starting quarterback job during his junior year of high school. During that season, he threw for 2,150 yards and 26 touchdowns. He led his team to the state regional finals that year, but failed to bring them back to the state championship in the 2015 season. During the offseason, Jones attended the Elite 11 quarterback camp, where Tua Tagovailoa won the Elite 11 MVP. Going into his senior year, expectations were high for Jones in the Bolles School. Jones threw for 1,532 passing yards and 29 touchdowns. He helped lead the Bolles School to the Florida 4A state championship. Jones was selected to play for the U.S. Under-19 national team at the 2017 North American Championship against Canada. According to 24/7 Sports, Jones was a 3-star recruit, being ranked as the 18th best pro-style quarterback, 52nd best player in Florida, and 399th best recruit nationally. Jones originally committed to the University of Kentucky, but according to Bleacher Report, flipped his commit after the Elite 11 camp. Jones had been committed to Kentucky for 10 months, but after Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator at Kentucky and the person who had been recruiting Jones, was dismissed, Jones decided to flip his commit to Alabama on June 7, 2016. Jones had 24 different offers from the likes of Baylor, Kentucky, Oklahoma State, and Texas A&M. Going into Jones' freshman year at Alabama, the quarterback room was crowded with the likes of Jalen Hurts and fellow freshman quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Jones decided to redshirt and did not record any stats during the season. Jones served as one of the main backup quarterbacks for Alabama during his redshirt freshman year, behind starter Tua Tagovailoa. Jones saw time in 14 of Alabama's 15 games. He mainly served as a team holder, but recorded stats in 6 of the 14 games he played in. He finished the season completing 5 of his 13 passes for 123 passing yards and 1 touchdown. His lone touchdown came on a 94-yard passing touchdown to Jalen Waddle. Going into his redshirt sophomore season, Jones took over the primary backup role over Tua Tagovailoa after Jalen Hurts transferred to Oklahoma during the offseason. Jones came in for injured Tua Tagovailoa right before half in a 35-13 win against Tennessee. Jones completed 6 of his 11 passes for 72 yards during the game. Jones started his first game in a 48-7 win over Arkansas, completed 18 of his 22 passes for 235 passing yards for 3 touchdowns, and was named the Offensive Player of the Week by the Alabama coaching staff. Tua returned for the LSU game, and Jones spent the game handling all of the holding duties. Jones entered the game against Mississippi State after Tua suffered a serious hip injury late in the second quarter. At the time Jones entered the game, Alabama was up 35-7. Legendary head coach Nick Saban debated about not even playing Tua in the game after his previous ankle injury and had planned to take Tua out before his last series, but let him play for a 2-minute drill practice. Due to a series of unfortunate events, that series would be the last for Tagovailoa at the University of Alabama. Jones finished the game completing 7 of his 11 passes for 94 passing yards. Alabama found out Tua's season was over and Mac Jones was thrusted into the starting quarterback role. Jones had a lot of pressure going into his second start of the season, with Alabama in the thick of the college football playoff race, being ranked number 5 in the nation going into the Western Carolina game. During the Western Carolina game, Jones completed 10 of his 12 passes for 275 passing yards and 3 touchdowns en route to a 66-3 win. All eyes were on the Iron Bowl against Auburn. Not only was it one of the biggest rivalry games in college football, but a top 20 matchup in Alabama's final push to the college football playoffs. Mac Jones completed 26 of his 39 passes for 335 passing yards, 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, both of which were returned for touchdowns. The first interception was an overthrow to Jerry Jeudy, while the second interception was an underthrown ball to Najee Harris that bounced off his back and into the hands of an Auburn defender in a freak play. Jones led Alabama down the field on a possible game-tying drive, down 48-45, but unfortunately, the kicker missed the game-tying field goal with 2 minutes left. Alabama lost the Iron Bowl 48-45, crushing any hopes of making the college football playoffs. Jones and Alabama rebounded in their bowl game against Michigan. Jones opened the game with an 85-yard passing touchdown on the first play of the game. Jones finished the game throwing for 327 passing yards and 3 touchdowns on the way to a 35-16 win. Jones finished the season completing 68.8% of his passes for 1,503 passing yards and 14 touchdowns, while also rushing for 36 yards and 1 touchdown. According to Alabama Insider, Jones averaged 293 passing yards, 3.25 touchdowns, and 0.5 interceptions per game. With those stats over a 13-game season equates to 3,809 passing yards, 42 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Going into Jones's redshirt junior season, he will be competing for the starting job with highly rated true freshman Bryce Young, a 5-star recruit out of California who was the #1 rated dual-threat quarterback and 2nd rated player in the 2020 recruiting class. Mac Jones was the favorite to win the job, but with the 2020 fall college football season on life support due to COVID-19, Jones may have a tough decision to make. If the college football season is moved back to the spring, will Jones be able to beat Young out for the starting quarterback job, or will he transfer? After sitting behind Tua Tagovailoa the past few seasons, I believe he will stay and fight for the starting quarterback job at Alabama. According to Roll Tide Wire, Jones has the 6th highest odds to win the Heisman at plus 2,000 and was also named to the Davey O'Brien Award watch list. Alabama is one of the highest national championship odds, but before the schedule change, had a grueling conference schedule that included playing a non-conference game against USC, as well as playing Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Texas A&M, and Auburn. Now with the new conference-only schedule, they replace USC, Georgia State, Kent State, and Tennessee Martin with Missouri and Kentucky. Will Mac Jones be the starter whenever the season actually starts? And if he is, will he be able to lead Alabama back to the college football playoffs? We will have to wait and see. If you like this video, check out my other videos in the Who Is series. Leave a like on the video and subscribe.